What's up, XDefiant fans? It is Preach as always. Today's video is going to be all about the two big nerfs that came to XDefiant this week while I was gone working at youth camp. Just to give you guys a quick update, my wife and I had a great time working the camp, and we are already looking forward to next year, but we are also absolutely exhausted from this week, and we are very glad to be home. Now, I have had a chance today to get on and play with assault rifles as well as sniper rifles to try to get a good feel for these gameplay changes that came this week, and I want to give you my overall thoughts and discuss something that is very unique about one of the changes. But before we jump into talking about all of these nerfs, if you guys like this video, you already know what to do. Smash that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new here, and turn those bell notifications on if you want to know every time I post a new video. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the movement nerf first. According to the developer Patrick Price, or Aches as he is better known, weapon sway was added to your gun after the fourth jump in a 1 second time, with each jump restarting that timer. I have seen some confusion on Twitter or X, so I want to clarify how this works a little further since I'm not held to a character limit here on YouTube like social media has. On jump number 1, the timer begins. If jump number 2 happens within 1 second, then the timer restarts, and that still counts as the second jump. So if jump number 3 happens within 1 second of jump number 2, the same thing happens. And then this repeats with each consecutive jump following, meaning that you essentially will begin to get the penalty on the fourth jump if it happens within 4 total seconds of the first jump. So basically it resets with every jump, but if you jump 4 times inside of 4 seconds, on the fourth jump and every jump thereafter until you stop jumping for over 1 second, you will have weapon sway on your gun. Hopefully that breakdown makes sense to you. Now, there is a lot of discussion online as to if this should occur after the third jump instead of the fourth jump. And I do think that there is some merit to this line of thinking, and I would like to discuss that. In most situations, you should be able to complete a kill within the first 3 jumps, making the impact of this nerf negligible at best for good players, and most of them will rarely get the 4 jump threshold where weapon sway begins to be added to the gun. The plus side to sway not being added until the 4th jump is that it does reward more skilled players for being able to win their gunfight quickly and punishes those who didn't hit enough shots in the first 3 jumps. But personally, I do think this would work better at 3 jumps instead of 4. My reasoning for this is because I want to promote a strategic use of bunny hopping. If sway came after the 3rd hop, players would need to choose a crouch or another form of movement after their 2nd jump, and I think this would create a lot more variety in gunfights and force players to learn how to strategize with their movement instead of spamming the same movement over and over again. 4 jumps helps compared to the 0 penalty that we had before the nerf though, so overall I am very happy with this change to the game at this point, and I know the developers are constantly monitoring these things, so I'm sure that they will know how well it is balanced out as they gather more data. The other nerf that I want to discuss is the addition of sniper rifle flinch. If you have watched my previous videos, then you know that even though I love to use sniper rifles, I was also a big fan of flinch being added to them in XDefiant. This does really help other players in gunfights against snipers and makes them not feel quite so overpowered when you are playing against them. From the side of the guy holding the sniper rifle, I feel like the balance and style of flinch that they chose is a really strange feeling. So Modern Warfare 3 has sniper rifle flinch, but it has the feel that if you are really good and know how to manage it, while it does hurt you in the fight, you can manage to fight against it with really good right thumbstick or mouse control. I don't want XDefiant to be Call of Duty, so this isn't necessarily a complaint. It is just something that is going to take a serious learning curve to get used to and may get some balance patches just like the jump spam nerf as the developers collect data on this over time. But the flinch does seem to be pretty inconsistent feeling to me, in my personal opinion. For example, one area of flinch that I think could use an immediate adjustment is flinch at range. When you're at long ranges, such as the range that would be considered a long shot with an assault rifle, you should not get much flinch as a sniper, because that is the range where a sniper should be the more optimal weapon for the job. Heavy flinch at closer ranges is great because it gives the guns that are truly meant for those ranges an advantage over the sniper rifle. But at long range, where the sniper rifle should have the advantage, they shouldn't get flinched quite so easily off of target, in my personal opinion. Now, the last thing that I want to touch on with flinch before I give my overall general thoughts on this patch within XDefiant is the directional aspect of flinch, and this is really the area where things can start to feel pretty inconsistent. So, in most other games, and with most other guns, even in this game, flinch is primarily an upward vertical response to being hit with bullets from an enemy's weapon. But on the sniper rifles in XDefiant, there is both an upward and a downward vertical flinch that appears to differentiate based upon where in the body that you have taken damage. In my minimal couple hours of testing this today, the downward flinch has been a tough adaptation to handle, but I think this is primarily because it is something that I am not used to. I don't think the downward recoil or flinch is necessarily a bad thing, but I do think it will take a significant learning curve to figure out how to counter this or recover from it. In the long run, I think both of these changes are overall great changes because they both increase the skill gap within the game. They may take some adjustment from the players that were used to using them in the manner that they previously existed, but it also may create a bigger separation between the good players and the great players, and that is something I will always stand for. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and we will be back to regular uploads now that my family and I are back home. So make sure to smash that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new here, and turn those bell notifications on if you want to know every time I post a new video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Preach out.